Hello, Nick. You and I are live again today. It's like we live on YouTube live.
You kind
We're
of do.
back. We're back. It's course launch week. Gonna be honest, kind of blown away by how many people are joining the complete wedding videography course. I mean, I'm not blown away because it's awesome, but I'm also kind of blown away. And I'm not just saying that. That's like not a sales tactic or anything. Like there are lots of you joining the complete wedding videography course. We've been doing all kinds of fun things. One of them is right now, Nick and I are about to record a podcast called Basic. What do we say we're going to title it? How to Book More Weddings in 2023.
I think that's what
And
we came up with. Yeah.
yeah, that's what we came up with. And so we've got some notes, and we're going to record a podcast here in a little bit. But Nick, before we get
hmm
going, I want to make sure that if you're hearing the sound of our voice, I mean, I'm the only one that's really talked so far. So Nick, if you talk in a second, make sure that if you can
Hello.
hear
Hi,
us,
I'm
yep,
here.
there he is. He is. Drop in the comments where you're watching from, as well as who you like better, John or Nick. I got choked up there. I was thinking how much I like you, Nick, but or Blake the editor, who's here as well. So John, Nick, or Blake. I'm going to look at the comments of where you're from and which one of us you like better. Um, just I'm paying attention to what you say though. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
then one thing that we are going to be doing today, as you can see, it's below me right now, below us, is you can enter to win one of these podcast mics. And we are also going to be giving away one of our pricing guides, which is $150 value. The reason that we are doing that today, we're talking about how to book more, but one of the things we're talking about is going to be your presentation while you're doing stuff like Zoom calls. And we highly recommend doing that, not only so that you can see the people and see their expression and talk to them and read that body language while you're talking to them, but we want you to look really nice and sound really nice. So we figured that most people can figure out a way to use their wedding cameras that they use, but that doesn't always help with the audio. And so we want to help you with that. So that's why we are doing that. So there is a QR code on the screen, and Blake is going to be putting the link in the chat there where you can sign up for that. We will do that at the end of this little live podcast recording.
Yeah, and
You
I
can
got to
win
read
one
a
of
couple of
these.
these comments. Tyron says all the way from Ireland. Sorry, John, it's got to be Nick. That beard is majestic. You are dead to me. Let's see. Nova Scotia, Canada, the bearded wonder, Richard. Okay, we all like Nick better. This is great. Solely like Nick more because my name is also Nick. Respect on that. Um, Justin says I definitely like John or Nick better. I don't know what that means. But yeah, so far the tally, I think that I'm winning of people that like me.
I don't know. Daniel said the bearded guy from Hungary,
I'm
like the
hungry.
country Hungary. I mean, I could probably fit in
Oh,
there pretty well, you know.
mm-hmm. Yeah, you probably could. So Nick, we're about to hit
Yes,
record on the
we
podcast.
are.
I actually already have hit record. But before that, why don't you talk a little about the complete wedding videography course, who it's for, that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And that
So
special that you told people if they do in this hour that you mentioned
Oh
earlier.
yeah. So, we have had quite a few people sign up. We still have a few spots for that first 50 giveaway. One of the things we're doing, if you sign up for the course this week, if you're one of the first 50 people, you will be entered to win some really cool stuff, some amazing LUTs by our friends over at Gamut, Stanton, Giles. Illume LUTs, we're giving some of their LUTs away. We're giving away Multiply Media's The Flow sound effects pack. We are also giving away a year subscription to MusicBed and an M1 MacBook Pro. If you're one of the first 50 people to join our course, you will be automatically entered in to win that. Speaking of the course, who is it for? We think that there are lots of stuff that you could learn from this, no matter where you are. But in our mind, we were kind of gearing to probably their first 5 years in business was kind of who we were speaking to whenever we created this course. It does everything. We talk about business, shooting, and editing. So there are 3 massive modules. It's over 30 something hours of content that we recorded just of the course. And so when there's business stuff, there's lots of things we cover. One of the things that we cover in there is like consultations and just breaking those down and how you should be talking to your couples, how you should be communicating with them, what you should do, what they should be thinking about. So that's in there. And then one of the neat things that we have recently started adding within the last couple of years is actually real Zoom calls, real meetings that we have had with our couples, with our clients. And so you can hear how we talk to them and how we're selling to them without sounding like super cheesy or super salesy or really pushy. And, one of the best ways absolutely to learn from someone is to, do it while they do it. But, with sales calls and those kind of things, that's not something that you can just, do. We can't invite you onto the call, but you can watch us, which is the next best thing. In our shooting section of the course, we cover everything, very theory. This is what you should be thinking about. This is what you should be considering. These are kind of, lenses that are getting these different kind of looks and that kind of stuff. But then we have some behind the scenes in there as well, of me at a wedding and John at a wedding, where you can learn from us and see what we do. And then the editing section, yes, we're talking about theory and what you should be considering, what should you be thinking. But also in that, I recorded it was a massive, from start to finish, an edit that I did of a wedding film, from importing my footage all the way to uploading it online. Everything that I'm thinking about, everything that I'm doing, and anything you can think about in between in there. And that is all included in the course. And then we also have lots of bonuses. John has an upsell guide that he put together, how to make more money from the clients that you already have. And Sam Jacobson, who is a sales guru, recorded a special section just for our members of the course. And then we have some other uploads and some things that are in there. So, John, was there anything why don't you talk about if anyone joins from now until
that's the thing I wanted you to tell about.
I think that's the thing that you wanted me to start with.
That's the only thing I really cared about. I mean, they already know what's in the course. I appreciate it. And I think Blake put the URL in the chat so people can check that out. But Nick and I wanted to do something special, and I just looked, there are 10 spots left. So that means 40 people have joined the course so far, which is a ton for the first few days for us. There's 10 spots left for that giveaway Nick was talking about, which is the computer, all the different things. You get added to the list to get drawn for winning that guy if you're in the next 10 people, and that will sell out. We will get to that number. That's no question. We're way further in enrollments than even we last time or the time before it. So if you're considering it, we just want to give you that push. But one more push. If you join within the next 60 minutes while we're live, number one, we will shout you out on the air. And number two, we will enter you for a mentor session with us and an in-depth film review. So kind of like what you've been seeing on our YouTube channel, we're actually doing in-depth film reviews tomorrow. So if you win that today, we will be reviewing your film tomorrow. Think about that. Anyway, so lots of stuff there. That's it for the pre-roll stuff. Nick, I think I want to get into podcast mode. The way this is going to work is Nick and I are just going to record this like we usually would. And if you have questions, write them down. I'm not going to be looking at the comments until breaks and things like that. But at the end, we'll do a Q&A, and you're not hurting our feelings by asking questions. It actually helps us to provide better content to the entire, tens of thousands of people listening to the podcast each month. If there's things that you want more clarity on, we only know what we know. And sometimes those questions you give us really help us to articulate something and might unlock the door in someone's mind that's helping them get out of their own way. So we say that a lot. You just don't know what you don't know. And we want to be that open door for you all. If you have questions, that helps us help everyone. Nick, anything you want to add?
I don't think so. Yeah, don't take it personally. We are going to ignore you guys over there in the chat until
Blake won't.
Break.
Blake will listen.
Blake will. But we're recording this. This is actually a podcast that we're going to put out in a couple of weeks. And so, anyways, we're just going to record here like we normally do, like no one is watching us. So, John, I'm recording my audition. I'm recording my computer and my. Oh, hold on. I forgot.
Got to record the Zoom call.
Wait, Blake, do I need to? You're here. Blake, do I need to record the Zoom call?
Oh, great.
Okay, Blake says no, and he edits it.
You're good.
So, okay.
We'll do whatever. Right. For those that you were wondering too, we record into Audition, like separately, and we record into C100 Mark IIs, and we record our Zoom call. And so that's how we do it. We upload all the footage to Blake, the editor, and he does all of his magic, adds in all the graphics, all the things. But if this is good enough over on just the YouTube stuff, I say export that out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, before
we'll
fun story, before we started recording the Zoom calls, guys, it was really hard to get everybody to sync up, especially if there was like one or two guests. So we would have everyone hold their hand up in front of the screen at the same time. And that's how I would sync everybody's audio and video back in the day before we were like, hey, let's just record the Zoom call. So fun little BTS on that.
Or we'd all be like, all right, on the count of three, everyone clap.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And we would do it and it would still be off because of the internet.
It was terrible.
So yeah. All right. A lot of nice comments over there. Thanks for saying the course is great. All right.
If you're excited, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know that you're excited, or give us an emoji. So, all right. John, with this special podcast, I'm going to give you the honors of starting us off today.
Okay, cool. Let me delete this little.
Unless you want me to do it, but I'll let you.
No, I love talking. You know that about me. Come on, buddy.
No, I do.
How now, brown cow. All right, I'm ready.
Yep.
Hello and welcome. Yeah. You said yep. All right. Sorry. Here we go. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn, and I am joined today by my best good buddy. He's got a beard. He has a beanie. He looks cozy. The one and only Nick Miller. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Dude, I'm doing so good. I am cozy. You know, for those of you that don't know, my office is in the basement. And it's always cold down here, even when we have the heater on and it's cold outside. And so typically when I come down here, I put on a beanie and a sweatshirt, even in the summertime. It's just chilly down here. So yeah, I'm cozy. You'd know that if you're watching this on YouTube. I don't know if you are, but if you're not, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel.
It's the most passive way to ask people
youtube.com/how to film weddings.
Man, have to.
Yeah,
can.
But anyways, I'm good. I'm cozy. For those of you that are listening to this in the future, we're actually doing something fun right now. It is, as we're recording this, it is course launch week. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're giving a peek to everyone that's interested, and we're actually streaming this live. And so we have a lot of people in the chat and watching us record this little behind the scenes kind of stuff. This is also a perk that our HTFW Plus members get, where once a month they will get to watch us record a podcast if they are interested in that. So anyway, all that to say, John, I'm doing really good.
That's good. Okay, I got to be honest. Right before recording this,
this is so funny, guys. This is crazy.
The crap out of me. I posted it in my stories today, but I went outside because my pool, it's been cold, so something like froze up in a motor. It was making a noise. No big deal. Called my pool guy. Anyway, I went out there to go turn the power back on, and inside of my pool was a dead possum. A dead possum in my pool. It's scary. Yes.
The question that I have that I asked in our group chat, it's a possum. So are you sure it was dead? I mean, are you sure?
He was just floating in circles. He was gone. He was a goner. And I picked him up and I had to take him out into the woods behind my house. It was Anyway, so that kind of freaked me out. And then my wife just walked by a little bit ago and I was like, oh, she just scared me for no reason. Like, I'm a little jumpy. So if you see me jumping or anything, but anyway, the pool guy's coming here to shock the pool. Anyway, that's what's happened to me today. But other than that, it's been great. I went to lunch with my wife today, just had a great little afternoon. Everything was going well to the case of the possum. So, but that was not awesome. See the rhyme? You see what I did there? Awesome.
It was not an awesome possum.
No, it was a non-awesome possum. But other than that, things have been going great. You did say it is course launch week. We've had tons of people joining, lots of new interaction in the Facebook group. We're coming on to the Thanksgiving, Christmas season. It's my favorite time of the year. So many good things going on. But Nick, it's almost 2023, which is kind of mind-blowing.
It is.
That's 23 years into this millennium. It's nutso. 2023 will be here very shortly. And we have been hearing in our Facebook group again and again, I'm low on bookings in 2023. And there's inflation in the States. There's inflation across the globe. There's lots of uncertainty with things. There's wars, there's politics, there's division, there's all kinds of stuff. And it's like, are people going to spend money? Or, what's wrong with me and my business? And so Nick and I just wanted to do an episode called How to Book More Weddings in 2023. We're going to look at some things to maybe get yourself ready for 2023, a little checklist, if you will, of things to maybe be thinking about as we're moving into 2023. Because Nick, running a wedding video business is not a short-term game kind of business. It is the people that can do this for the long haul and have a long mindset and do the right things over time. If they have that crock pot over the microwave method, those are the ones that are going to see success. And I'm now going into the middle of my, like halfway through my 16th year. You're halfway through your 10th year, and you don't just do that by accident, and you don't do that in a thriving manner by accident. What do you want to add?
Yeah. So, we need to be intentional, and we need to be thinking long-term about all this stuff. It's whenever you get started, you just want to do everything at once. And so you slap things together and you're kind of Frankensteining your work, right? Where you pull this from over here and you pull this from over here, and you're not really streamlined stuff, and you don't know what's going on. Or a couple of years in, you're looking at how you do your emails or how you do your consultation calls. You're like, well, I'm pulling this from here and this from here. And it's unorganized. It's not efficient, all that stuff. So today we want to kind of talk you through some of those things, stuff that you should be thinking about to help you hopefully book more weddings as we come into the new year. Now, I know that a lot of us know that we're getting ready to be upon engagement season. It's something like over 50% of engagements in the year happen between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. So it's just a couple of months, and we have like 50% of engagements happen during that time. And so you might be sitting here, hey, you're listening to this in, mid to end of November, and you're like, oh no, I've already missed it. I'm too late. Well, I will say that a majority of my engagement season inquiries actually happen the first 2 or 3 weeks of January. That's always been kind of our track record and how we've been. And so as you're listening to this at the end of November, maybe the beginning of December, you still have a couple of weeks. You still have a few weeks to really kind of think about some of these things and maybe retool how you are going about your business and how you are going about things so that you can book more in this year, so that you can, get more of these inquiries, because they're going to come in. I mean, traditionally, that's what they happen, right? For like everyone across the board. So we're just going to talk about what you can be doing. So John, what do you have to add about doing in 23? What you can do?
If you think about it, a lot of people are not even engaged yet that are going to be getting married next year. And the way it works a lot of the times, some people have a year or more engagement, but a lot of people get engaged over the holidays and maybe even get married that summer or the following summer, or 2023 summer, 2023 fall, something like that. And so they don't know that you exist yet, some of them. And you need to really be aware of your brand and how it presents itself for the first impression.
Absolutely.
The year happens, we get things updated on our site earlier in the year, or maybe you've been thinking, I need to get those photos updated of me with that couple on my website, or I need to finish that branding thing, or I need to put that awesome video I filmed from Guatemala on my homepage, which I just did. If you're not like, this is the time, a lot of people start to really chill out at this time and say, I'll get to that later. And we can't tell you enough how important it is to say, one of the first thing we want to talk about is updating your website and getting it fresh with the best videos, updated photos, updated copy. So like, if you're listening to this, go pull up your calendar and say, on this day, I'm going to spend the whole day, pick a day and update your website. Just go through it. Maybe you make a couple of new highlights for it. Maybe you find some photos of you with the couples from this last year, whatever it is. Maybe you schedule a quick photo shoot with a photographer. Really think through how you can update your website. And Nick, what kinds of things do you think of whenever I'm talking about updating website on this subject? I mean, is there anything that you're thinking about with Wild Oak Films that you're wanting to do?
Yeah.
Or in general?
So you mentioned quite a few things, and actually I recorded an episode with Austin, who does our graphics and our website for How to Film Weddings. He runs the creative with his wife Jessica in Iowa, and we actually did an episode titled "Getting Ready for Engagement Season," and it just talked about getting your website ready and what to think about. So it was a couple episodes ago. I'm not sure the exact number, but if you want to go back and check out that one for a little bit more detailed breakdown of things that you can do. Actually, here we just have finished working with Sam's team at ID Action, doing the copy for our website. So we're in the process over the next couple of months or so, in the next month or so, to turn that over to our website designer and let them go in and update all of the copy on our website. So that's something that you should maybe consider. If you want a professional copywriter, though, it's probably going to take you a little bit of time to do that, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months to get that done. So just keep that in mind. But we've already done that work, and all we need to do is update our website with that information. So that's something to think about. Now would be a great time. You've filmed all these weddings in this year. I'm sure that you've got some great content, and I'm sure it lives on your Instagram or your YouTube or your Vimeo channel, but does it live on your website? And that's one thing that I would consider, is sit down and start looking at the work that I'm putting on my website. And does this need to be refreshed? Does this need to be updated? I would do that. A new photo, an updated photo of you, take a look at that. Maybe you got some done earlier this year, but I know that there are a lot of people that maybe have been going for a couple of years, and they never bothered putting a picture of themselves on their page, because they were, again, like Frankensteining everything and doing it all themselves and trying to get going, and they just never bothered putting a photo of themselves. So we would recommend putting a photo of yourself on your website. Those are the main things that I'm thinking about. Again, as we're talking about this, how to book more, how you present yourself really matters. And so I would go through my website, I would go through my Instagram or YouTube or Facebook page or any of that stuff, and think about the things. How am I presenting myself to the people that are reaching out to me? And that's not just what the photo looks like, right? It's the videos that you're posting, the coloring that you're posting in your videos, the look of your Instagram feed, the types of stuff things that you're sharing on your Insta stories or your TikTok or any of that. All of that rolls into your presentation and why it really matters. So I feel like I was just kind of long-winded there, but those are some things that I would be thinking about, that I am thinking about for Wild Oak Films, but also if I were out there listening, that I would be thinking about.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, like updating your website, getting it just kind of fresh, that hero banner, whatever that first thing people see, is that work from this year that you're proud of? Is it, your best shots from the last few years? Just updating those things, getting that fresh, making sure that the copy feels like you know a little bit more of who you want to serve after another year. So maybe really identifying the things about the couples you loved the most this last year and saying, I loved doing these kinds of weddings. Does my website talk to that kind of person? Does my website feel like corporate jargon, or does it feel like a friend talking to another friend? You're talking about your business. And, one of the things, and I'll talk about this here in a second, is really personally showing up on your website. We do a lot of reviews where you can find one photo of the filmmaker and they're looking away from the camera, and it's like, where are you? I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. I don't know. So like, show up, really think through your about page, because that's where people are going after they go to your homepage and see work that they like. They say, do I like this person? Could I see them at my wedding? So show them what you look like at weddings. Tell them what you're going to be like at weddings. Show them what you're like in a real day, those kinds of things. I want to talk about that more in a second, but before doing that, I had a thought while you were talking, Nick, about just like reaching out to your frienders at this point of the year, the friends that are vendors. I'm thinking about your photographer friends. I'm thinking about your wedding planner friends. For me, maybe a couple of the florists or cake makers, and just kind of reaching out and saying, hey, it'd be great to catch up before next year. It'd be great to just connect before next year, especially the photographers and planners, so that you can say, just so you know, like I did this last year where I said, hey, just so you know, I'm taking on less weddings. I sent this kind of same message, but personalized to each of the planners I really liked working with. So I'm taking on a little bit less. Our starting price is going to be about this. If you have couples that fit this bill, if they want true to color films, if they want, a more fine art vibe, but mainly nostalgic, and they're doing an experience, they're doing a destination. They're like, these are the kinds of couples that I'm really trying to serve. I'm really trying to serve couples that want home footage in their films, that really look at this as an heirloom. If they're just somebody that just wants video and like if they don't really care if it's not near the top of their list, I'm probably not the right fit for them. But having a few conversations, I had like 5 or 6 conversations with some of the planners in town. And if you have an updated pricing guide for the next year, it's okay to send that to the planners to say, here's what I'm looking at, here's the packages I'm offering. So reaching out to your frienders, and then some of the photographer friends, reaching out and saying, hey, I'm putting everything together for next year. I'd love to work with you again. Or I'd love to be working with you. Here's some of the things I'm looking for. So if you have a couple that, fits this bill, let me know and I'll do the same for you. What types of couples are you looking for? And trying to really reach out to those frienders and get to we're recording this episode, like how to book more weddings in 2023. Some of these little things could help you be the distinguishing difference in booking. Getting people's eyeballs on your site is great, but if it's not updated and you feel like you don't know who that person is, you might just fall off into the sea of the internet and kind of be vanilla and boring. So thinking about that. Yes, Nick.
Earlier this year, I think it was earlier this year, maybe it was last year, we were talking and I had a couple that was reached out to me. I was booked. I was going to send them your way. And you were like, do not send them to my website. It was your old John Bunn Films one, or your Redeem Productions. You do not send them to my website. Send them to my Instagram. Hook me up in an email. Do not send them to my website because you were like, I'm rebranding. It looks bad. I don't. Okay. If you're not taking this presentation stuff as seriously as maybe you should, and you're not considering your website and considering these things, you might have planners that love to work with you, but by them referring you, it makes them look bad because your website, your whatever is not up to snuff. And so this is why we're saying a presentation. It is so much more than having a quality film that matters in getting people to hire you. Okay. So that's why we're talking about presenting yourself and making your website look really nice and, having your copy and all these things look really stellar, because I would hate to be in the position where someone reaches out to me, they're like, hey, can you pass my name along, just so-and-so, but I check out their website, I check out their, and it's like, I can't do it because by me passing your name along, I'm attaching myself to you in a sense, and it makes me look bad because, you're not there yet. So, John, we've been going for a little bit on this stuff, and I think that we're going to go take a quick break. And whenever we come back, we're going to talk about some things that you should be considering thinking about to up your presentation, to make yourself look better whenever you are communicating with both your frienders, I like that word, and your potential couples. So we'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
How's our studio audience? 88 people. Oh my gosh.
Wow,
okay. Hi
wow.
guys. What are you guys thinking so far?
This is where Blake would put in a ad for one of our amazing sponsors that we have. John does some running, and whenever you're listening on podcasts, you don't get to see this kind of stuff, right? You don't get to see the fun John standing up and doing stretches and all that stuff.
Got to take care of that lower back. Is this helping anybody? Is this helping anybody?
Alex says very informative.
That's neat. That is neat. If you are watching this live, there's 85 of you. Would you do us a favor and hit the thumbs up button on this YouTube video? It helps us later, and that would be very neat. And I say we leave this live and then maybe take it down later or something, Blake. I don't know. What do you think? Is this going to go away right after this, or are we going to turn this into an episode later? Right. I mean, do we want to leave this live though, so people can watch it in the next couple weeks?
We'll figure that out. We'll figure it out.
I don't want to waste them liking it, if we're just going to go hide it and stuff.
Yeah. It probably helps the algorithm gods.
It probably does. If not, it's just fun to say it. It feels like I'm Peter McKinnon.
Hey, Jess and Dawes, I will answer your question now in this break. He said, our website is under reconstruction. Is it worth making a landing page that looks nice for the time being? I would have a nice looking landing page at the minimum that maybe has a contact form saying, hey, our website's being redone. Here's a contact form, or reach out to us via our socials and links to that. Like something that looks really nice, that looks really presentable while you are getting other stuff in order. So yes, I would recommend doing that.
I would say this, if you go check out Peyton Frank's website, Peyton, Peyton and ANNE Frank.com. I'll put it in the notes or whatever, but PeytonAnnFrank.com. It's like 3 videos and a contact button with just her name. It looks clean enough to like have people, but she's booking $30,000+ weddings with that website.
Yeah.
PeytonAnnFrank.com.
Blake, real quick, I'm just going to chat again for a second, maybe answer a question. If you could throw up that mic giveaway on the screen, full, big side screen there. So, again, if you are here, we're talking about presentation and why it matters and that stuff. And one of the things we're going to get into is like Zoom calls and looking nice and that stuff. So actually my podcast setup here, and I know John's podcast, are what we actually do for our consultations in Zoom calls. And we're talking into these mics with our lights on and our camera. So it looks really nice. It looks really professional. And every time I hop into a meeting with a potential client, they're like, whoa, like you look professional. You look like you know what you're doing. And I'm like, yes, I look like I know what I'm doing. I have no clue at all. That was a joke. I always joke with them, and sometimes they laugh. Sometimes they hang up because they think I'm not professional. Anyway, I was trying to be. I'm getting no feedback from John, and I need that feedback. And he didn't even hear anything that I said. So if you would like to win this kind of mic, so that when you're talking to your couples during Zoom calls, it can sound really nice, make sure you click on that QR code. We are going to be giving that away at the end of this recording. Okay, John.
My computer was doing that weird thing, so I was like, you were glitching out, so I didn't hear a lot of what you said.
You were glitching out. You were glitching out. You were like this, and then it was like this. You were like this, and
yeah, sorry,
like that. It's okay.
Sorry, buddy. Blake, am I glitching out on your computer? Because I know it's my internet. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Okay. All right, so Nick's just on the screen by himself still. I like this. I like looking over and see Nick. He looks nice. Okay, I'm back. All these questions that we're seeing in the chat are great. Will you please like ask them to us here in just a little bit? Or Blake, because these are great questions. I'm
saving the questions
Nick,
for the end.
Nick, you bring us back.
I will bring us back. Okay.
And I've got some things I would love to chat about, as always, before we're getting into
Am I going into the next point, or am I bringing us back and then throwing you the softball?
Just bring it back, and throw me a softball.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back from break. We are here today, and we are talking about booking more in 2023 and some things that you should be talking about. We started this conversation about your presentation and why it matters. And it's not just the photos that you have or what you wear on a wedding day. It's so much more than that. It's the look of your website. It's the feel of it. It's the color palette that you decide to use. It's how you are communicating with your clients. And so, John, what do you have to say about this idea as we're talking about presenting and being more than just, I just keep on coming back to what you wear on a wedding day, being more than that? Like what things do you have to add, or where do you want to start this conversation?
Yeah. I mean, when we're talking about booking more weddings in 2023, presentation, or as Nick says, presentation, whichever way you say it is fine. But presentation matters. And I'm sitting here thinking just about, a lot of times I would be in so much backlog that I couldn't think about that kind of stuff, or I had that one film that I knew if it was ready, or if at least there were some shots of it out there, that it would make my brand look better. This is the time of the year where maybe you carve out an evening, or maybe you carve out some extra time and you say, I did this killer wedding that's like 5 in backlog. I want to put together like a few clips from that to show on my website, or I want to update. Like, you can get outside of just the order of all your edits. You can, what is going to help you be the most presentable for the busy part of the year? January, February for me, maybe it's different in your area, but as you're getting more and more inquiries, are they going to be more drawn to you if there's more imagery of you on your website? Is there copy on the website that really talks to them? And then the other side of it, like we mentioned, your relationships with video and photo, or with photo and planners is really, really important. And just being top of mind, Because if you just kind of think about a newly engaged couple, they get engaged, they're going to celebrate over the holidays with their family. And that's why in January, they usually are like, all right, we got to get on this if we're going to get married this fall. We got to get on this. And there's this urgency where nobody needs the wedding vendors, and then everyone's trying to book them. So knowing how many weddings you want to book, setting boundaries on when the weddings are, like when you're going to take time off. This is whenever you're getting these things ready so that you're not in a huge backlog. The thing I'm thinking about too is just like looking at your numbers, looking at your prices, looking at your presentation. Like a lot of us suck when it comes to presenting our prices, our contact page, showing up on our website. The presentation matters. We do a lot of mentor sessions where the homepage is killer, the about page is killer, the films, the blog, and then it gets to the contact page, and it's like a black and white form that has 40 things for people to enter their information. There's no experience. What does your contact form look like? What does that feel like to people? Does that make it easy for them to want to reach out to you? Do they have to fill in a novel 10 different times to reach out to you? Like really looking through those things and saying, I don't need to know this at the very beginning. I'm not going to put that in the question. I don't really need to know all these details. This is what I need to know. I want more inquiries. Should I have my pricing right next to it? Should I not have my pricing? These are the kinds of things you really need to be thinking about. So we're going to get into talking about all those things. Nick, what do you want to add when it comes to these topics?
Yeah. As John was talking about with, the website reviews and stuff that we do and doing critiques and things, it's like people spend a lot of energy making their films look great, or they spend a lot of energy, making sure that their faces are all over the website, or, something, which is actually very few. Like there are a lot of people that we look at your website and you are nowhere to be found on it, or it's one picture that's kind of hard to find. Okay. But I think one of the things that John and I see a lot is maybe your website looks nice, but it's almost like your contact form is a different web page altogether, where everything's really nice and everything's really cohesive. But then that contact form, which is, probably step 2 or 3 in the order of them, figuring out who you are and if they want to reach out, it's just a white page with a lot of text on there and not much that makes it stand out. So think about your contact form and figure out ways, or that contact page, where they can see you and figure out a little bit about you and a little bit about what you're about, or, something that is a little personal on that page, so that as they reach out, that presentation can start. Yeah, that was the one thing that I was thinking about.
That was abrupt. That was an abrupt stop. So thinking about this though, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if you're updating your contacts, if you will, you're reaching out to the planners, you're reaching out to the photographers, you're thinking about, okay, it's the end of 22. I did this many weddings. I don't want to do that anymore. I need to make this much money. So here's what my prices need to be. Here was my most booked package here. Like this is going to help you to kind of know who you're aiming at. And the more clear I got with that, the easier it was for me to say no to people, because it's about to get crazy. And if you're just out of money and you're money hungry and you're taking anything and everything you can get, this time next year, you're going to be backlogged again. You're going to be burned out and you're going to want to quit. And our goal is to help you have a long, sustainable business. And so this is the time to be ready to book these weddings. You need to be thinking about these things. Like I was saying, if a couple gets engaged over Thanksgiving or Christmas and they start getting excited about their wedding, and in January they start reaching out, the first people they usually are going to reach out to, in my neck of the woods, and like my experience is they're reaching out to planners and venues and photographers. Like that's usually who they have booked before me. Yep. Sometimes they're I'm booked before the photographer a lot more now that I'm charging more, but for the most part, video is going to come after photo. And so it might be late January, it might be February by the time they are getting there and saying, hey, we need video. what are they going to do whenever they get to your landing page, your website, your social media? What are they going to see? Is that going to captivate them? Is that going to get them excited to find out about you? So they're going to go to your homepage. They're going to see things. They're going to be like, who is this person? They click the about page and they're like, oh, I really relate to this person. This is my kind of people. They go to the contact page, just a black and white form. That doesn't work. It needs to be an experience. It needs to be photos of you with couples. It needs to be whatever. Let's do this. A very cool vibe. So they want to reach out to you. And then, Nick, let's say they do reach out to you. What should we be thinking about? What should we be thinking about updating, getting ready so that we make it really easy for couples to know whether or not we're the right fit? And how can we present this in a way that is digestible and not overloading?
Yeah. So I'll just walk through what it is that I do whenever I get an inquiry, and to try and maybe this will help, spark some people's interest, or, get them thinking. So whenever a couple reaches out, if we're available, I will respond to their email as soon as I can. Now, this is going to be different for every business, every person. Some people are like, I only will respond to emails during this time and this time, which is totally fine. Some people have autoresponders that says, we'll get back to you in 24 hours or something like that, which, I don't care for those emails. I think that it's just kind of white noise, truthfully. Most people are like, okay, whatever, they kind of forget about that. But my goal is to respond to them as fast as possible. A friender in town said whenever he got married a few years ago, because he knew all of the photographers and he had a tough choice. He's like, man, there's like 4 different people that I would like to use. He emailed all of them and he based solely who he would hire on who got back to him the fastest. That was it. And so my recommendation is to respond as fast as you can. I also usually follow up with a text just saying, hey, I sent over some more information. I'm excited to connect with you, that sort of thing. And then in that email, I'm giving basic information. I'm not sharing my prices with them in my full price sheet, because I don't want to overwhelm them. I don't want them to, make a decision without me kind of guiding through and kind of talking through them a little bit. But I do say, if we're available, and I say a base price, what our collections start at, so they have at least some ballpark, some reference. And then I have a link where they can set up a Zoom call on their own time, what works best for them. There are people that like, maybe they don't want to do a Zoom call. Maybe they just want the pricing. Maybe they just want to go ahead and jump and make all those decisions, and that's fine. But I have decided that this is an important process, an important part of how I like to communicate and how I like to do our process. And so I am asking them to hop on a Zoom call with me. And during that time, that's whenever I will get to know them a little bit more and start presenting stuff with them. I don't want to give them too much so that they get overloaded, and this is just too much, because they're already. What is it statistically that for every vendor that a client reaches out to, they're actually emailing, what is it? Is it like 5 to 7 of each category or something like that?
That's what you have said. Yes.
Maybe I made that up,
I believe
but it sounds good. It sounds good.
Sounds great. No, I
they're
believe
reaching out to lots. So you need to be sure you're standing out a little bit. This is where it's nice to have in your email response a photo of yourself, so that they can kind of see that person that they are emailing with and connecting with a little bit, and then make it easy for them. We have it through our Honeybook, but have something like Calendly or Honeybook, or something that can be an auto scheduler for setting up a call, whether it's Zoom or phone or whatever. And it makes it easy for them to do that, rather than sending 3 or 4 emails back and forth. Well, I'm available this time and this time and this time. And then by the time you get a phone call set up, they've moved on because it was too difficult to do that. So what did I miss? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, how am I going into 2023? How am I going to book more weddings? And it's not just like, let's start running ads. Let's run around like our hair's on fire. It is making sure the things are in place. The relationships are good. The branding is good. The presentation is good. As soon as that couple reaches out, Nick, you said you have a way that you do it. I think that's really great. I have an auto email that goes out that just basically says like, hey, thanks for reaching out. It does not feel like an auto email. I just wanted to confirm the day and the venue And if you're working with a planner, do you mind just responding to this email and letting me know that I have them correct? And then we'll set up a call, just kind of like getting that in touch with them, making it easy with an auto scheduler, of course. But that's the, the progression of like, okay, they are working their way towards reaching out to you. Are you making it an easy way for them to get in touch with you? And then we get into some of these consultations and these discovery calls. Does your presentation on screen look good? Are you dimly lit? Do you have, like if you're doing a consultation in person, that's great. Or on the phone, that's great. We have found that the Zoom calls are actually very beneficial for us because if you have an actual, not necessarily a slide deck or presentation that you walk them through, but if you have films you can show them, if they bring up a specific moment, you can say, this is the way I filmed this, like you can show them visually what's going on. And one of the things that I really want you to leave this episode with, and I can't get into it too deep just because we could spend 4 hours on this though, is not trying to sell everything all at once. We get so excited. We're like just a kid in a candy store whenever someone's reached out and you want to do their wedding and you think it could be the wedding of the lifetime for you. You're willing to give them anything and everything, so they'll say yes. You're trying to tell them all the things you can do. And actually, for people that are wanting to charge more than $5,000 for a wedding film, this is, or to pay more than that, I mean, for a wedding film, it's kind of a turnoff to them. They want confidence. And so are you confident in your brand? Are you confident in knowing who it is you want to serve? We could spend an hour on that. Take time and say, what are the key components of weddings that I love? And what are the key components that I hate? The kinds of people that I love, the kinds of people I hate working with, and focus on talking to them, taking care of them, being very confident, saying, I don't think I'm the right fit for you because of these things, or I think I'm the right fit for you because of these things. So like being confident sells weddings. That's going to help you book more weddings in 2023. And you can't be really confident unless you know who you are wanting to serve and then how many weddings and the price that you want to charge. So this is also a great time to take a few minutes and look at all your bills and say, what is the least amount that I need to make to break even for this year? Do I need to make $4,000, $6,000, $2,000, whatever a month? That is the baseline after taxes that I need to bring in. If that's the case, and if I want to shoot between 20 and 25 weddings or 15 and 20, whatever that number is, if you know what you need to make and how many you want to shoot, you will know roughly how much you need to make per wedding. So you can start to get really confident and say, I'm only taking, like right now, I have 2 weddings booked of 5. I want to book 5 weddings. Got 2 more that are very interested. So I might be getting up to almost 80% booked here in the next month. But my starting rates as of today are 15,000, where both the first 2 that have booked me have paid over 20,000. And that's not a flex, even though I love flexing. But it's helped me to say, I want 5 weddings and I need to make $100,000, $85,000 to $100,000. I have other income, but like, that's kind of the range I want for those 5 weddings. Does my work back that up? Does my website back that up? Does my branding back that up? Does my relationship Rolodex back that up? I'm thinking through all these things, and then I can put together confident prices for 2023. I then can go look and say, what was my most popular booked package last year? What was my average booking? What was all, you can start to really get into these things and say, this is what my collections need to look like for 2023. And Nick, I just talked a lot, but presentation, when it comes to what you're offering, now that we've got that kind of figured out, who we want to serve, how can we present these packages, these collections in a way that isn't overwhelming, that helps guide people, because that's what we're here to do. How does it help us guide them into booking us for 2023? Because that's what we want.
Yeah. I think that we need to sit down and consider how we are sharing our pricing information. And are you just, is it kind of like a Google Doc or a Word doc or something like that? And you're like, well, this is what it is. And it's just pricing listed out. I would caution you not to do something like that just lists out specifically your pricing and maybe has a photo of a couple or a photo of you or something like that. Okay, we highly recommend doing some sort of pricing guide, or even a step up from that would be like a custom web page on your website where it goes in and you can go in and kind of change some stuff based on what you talk about with a couple. And you can do that with a pricing guide as well. But the idea of the pricing guide would be to set it up that you are a professional and that you know what you are talking about and you are the one that they should be looking to. So with the pricing guide, and we actually have some for sale in our shop at howtofilmweddings.com/store. You can take those, and it's laid out in a way where it sets you up as, this is who I am. I've been doing this for a long time. This is what I believe in. This is, that sort of stuff. And then it kind of goes in and shares some core values about your business and what you are like on a wedding day and getting into that stuff. Then it goes in and it has pages where you can share your specific prices. One collection, if you have 3 collections, it would take up 3 pages. So on each one, it just kind of shares information and then goes in and it says, here's some next steps, or here are some things that I promise will happen to you whenever you book with us. And it's kind of guiding them and setting up an expectation. Now, one of the things that's really cool about sending a customized PDF pricing page or a customized page on your website is this is now separating you from other people that you are, competing against for the job, right? Because if someone else is just sending a stock brochure from a CRM or I just typed this up on a Word document and I just threw a picture on it and, send it, and it's just a lot of it was a white page with black text versus a 8 to 9, 10 page PDF with pictures and text, and it's more immersive. Like, which one is going to stand out? And maybe the PDF one is a little bit more expensive, but that speaks to your client. Oh, this person is more expensive, but look at the attention to detail. Look at how far and above they went. We, this last week, and this is crazy to me, we sent out a $22,000 quote. And one of the things that the bride came back and she said was, whenever she saw our pricing page, was, wow, I'm not surprised, but your attention to detail, I feel like, we got to know you a little bit. I feel like, we know what to expect when it comes to our wedding day and also what our wedding film is going to be about based on what you shared. Thank you so much. This was incredible. And it really stood out to her because we did that. And that's one of those presentation things, especially as you start to charge more, that they matter. Maybe when you're charging, $2,000 or less, having a really fancy pricing guide doesn't matter as much. But whenever you start to creep up in price, and if you're just doing, here's a white piece of paper with my pricing printed on it, like that's not as impressive to people. Think about your life whenever you go to fancier places and how they present the stuff that you can buy from them. You buy something from Apple, and the packaging is the best packaging that I've ever seen in the world because they know they're expensive. And so they have to put it in something that goes along with that. So as you're talking about pricing and you're presenting those prices, have them be in a way that draws people in and then make them says, wow, this is incredible. Actually, whenever a couple of years ago, when we flipped over to these customized pricing PDFs, and I would send those out, I think I went like 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 in a row, booking couples that after they saw it, and I was, at least I was in the $45,000 to $6,000 range at that point, so pretty not cheap, right? And so anyways, your presentation really matters whenever it comes to how you are sharing your pricing to your clients.
Yes. And there's a million other things we can get into. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the mindset that you have toward your clients as not people you can sell stuff to, but people that you can guide to giving them an heirloom or an experience that they can't get anywhere else. After reading Donald Miller's Story Brand, the book, it changed my perspective. It kind of put into words a lot of the successful things that I was doing. If you haven't read that book, I strongly suggest it. But instead of looking at people as somebody you can sell something to, how can you guide people once they get to a consultation with you or get to your website helping them have the best wedding day. You are not the hero of the story. You are the guide. They are the hero of the story. And how can you guide them? Does your website guide them and make it easy for them to see if you're the right fit and not waste any of their time? It's okay if your website detracts people from wanting to be working with you. You do not have to be vanilla. You can present something that is very in their face. You can use profanity if you want to. You can say, I only work with these kinds of couples. I'm focused on destinations or elopements, or like you can guide them if they get to your site and say, oh, nope, that's not for me. Your color profile of what you use on your cameras can be dark and moody and vibey. And like, that's awesome. If a couple comes to your site and sees that and they don't want to book you, great. You want to stay true to who you want to serve and how you can guide them all the way through with something like a pricing PDF that guides them through what you can offer. It's not overwhelming. It's taking them step by step on a guide, as a guide. Think of any of the places that you've been, maybe with a tour guide, or if they just say, here, there's this city, go check it out, as opposed to like, this is this stop, this is the next stop, this is the next stop, this is the history behind this, like guiding them throughout this whole process. If you're doing that with your inquiries, you're doing that with your consultations, you're guiding them through the booking process with you, showing them exactly what they need to do, all while being very confident in knowing who you want to serve and why you want to serve them, your bookings are going to go up in 2023. There's a lot of other things that can happen. And luckily we have a podcast that comes out every week. So we've got more on these kinds of things. Nick, couple things. I know there's a promo code for people listening, because we want to make the pricing guides we offer a special price. And then if you're cool with it, you want to add anything, and then we can open it up to Q&A to our live studio audience. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, this might need to be edited out of the podcast. Are we doing the Q&A as a part of the actual podcast when that goes out in a couple of weeks, or are we going to kind of end it and then we can go into the Q&A? I think we should end it and go into the Q&A.
Sure. We did this last time, I think so. I don't remember what we decided. Blake, do you remember?
We decided to cut out the Q&A last time. So.
Okay.
All right. Blake, you figure out how to edit that. All right. Yes, we have a special promotion for anyone out there listening to this. If you go to our website, howtofilmweddings.com/store, and you pick up, we have 3 different pricing guides. We have kind of a nice looking, I can't remember the name of it, but we have like a luxury one, an adventure one, and then kind of a classic kind of looking one that's, more, I don't want to say traditional, but more.
You said modern.
Modern. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you so much. So we have 3. We have a luxury, an adventure, and a modern pricing guide. If you go to our website, howtofilmweddings.com/store, and you pick up one of those and use the promo code presentation, because we've been talking about presentation, use the promo code presentation. It will save you 25% off of any one of those pricing guides. So I think that's a good deal. So make sure that you go check that out. That will be available for 1 week, starting today for 1 week. It's promo code presentation for 25% off. John, as always, it has been great to hang out with you. Thank you for coming up with this idea. I think it was a good one. It was timely. It was something that all of us need to consider and work on, because I think that we like to think that our work speaks for itself when it does, but there's also so much more that goes into that. So thank you for coming up with this idea. It has been awesome to hang out with you. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, we will see ya.
See ya. Neat.
Okay. Guys, that's how we end the podcast. And sometimes we ask questions while we are recording it. And then Blake, our magic editor, is the one that...
Everybody, the applause sign is on. So that means you need to clap for us in the studio audience. And the only way we know you've done that is if you throw clapping or some type of emoji in the comments.
John.
Yes.
Joshua Hill.
Yes.
Just purchased the course. So he is entered.
Freaking Hill. Good job. Okay, just
so
you know,
entered for a promo.
Yes. Thanks, Joshua. Are you here live with us?
Are you here with us, Josh, if you are?
Lots of people. Hi, Claudia. It's good to see you. Claudia is always around with great mojo. Claudia Goodwin, thanks for being in our community. Okay. A lot of people clapping. Thank you. That does great things for my ego. I saw a question. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way. But if you have a question for us, please let us know. And Blake, if you want to tee us up, I'm great to stay here, Nick, for a little bit.
Sure.
I know
Sure.
people are waiting on the giveaway. I don't want to like hold them
Blake,
on too
why
long.
don't you? Yeah, that's up there. That's up there. So we'll maybe go like 10 minutes or so, and then we'll do the giveaway.
Yeah. So if you want to win a Shure MV7 mic, the ones we're using right here, for your presentation and one of our pricing guides, we're going to do that as a combo here in about 10 minutes, about 3:10, 3:15 Central. That QR code is right there, or I think Blake just put it in the comments, right? If not, go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we just got asked, Destiny says, love the pricing guides. I just finished customizing mine. Great. Someone asked, are they in the course? And yes, they are in the course. I wanted to say that you get all three of them. So basically $450 worth of those pricing guides in the course if you purchase today. And so those are just bonuses in there. I actually like using the modern one and the luxury one, depending on the wedding. So I don't use the adventurous one too much because that's not who I'm aiming for. But depending on like if it's a destination wedding in Charleston and I don't want it to like, I would use the luxury one. But if it was one that was maybe in my hometown, I might use the modern one and kind of beef it up. Anyway, so those things are great. Okay. Now, question time. Nick, I'm going to let you tee it up, or if Blake wants to read one in our ears, that works too. Blake,
Okay.
Are you there? Are you back? I know you had to run for a minute.
Okay,
I think he's.
I don't know where. Anyways, Benjamin Kelly asked, "How can I be actively thinking about branding website while I have weddings in backlog and have the backlog scaries?"
Oh, the backlog scaries are a real deal. Okay, so here's the thing: imagine that you're drowning, and someone hands you a baby. Jim Gaffigan says that's what it's like having 4 kids at once. And that's kind of what it feels like, right? It feels like we have 4 kids and we're drowning and someone's like, here's a baby. And you're like, wait a second, I'm drowning. How am I supposed to? Here's the only way I know this. At one point, I was 21 weddings in backlog. I had no money in my account. And I had a meeting with my wife. It was a hard meeting. It was December of 2017, right before Christmas. We had not much money in our bank account. I couldn't buy Christmas presents. And I was like, Heather, I am broke. We are broke. And where do broke people need to go? They need to go to work. And that's what I did. I literally said, I'm going to be doing 12 to 15-hour days from now until I get caught up. And you have to, I'm not saying that's what your position you're in, but what I'm basically saying to you is that like, maybe you need to have a conversation with your spouse. Maybe you need to have a conversation with yourself and say, I'm pulling 3 extra hours every night this week to get myself ahead and ready to go for it. Like, you're never going to be caught up until you do something like this. You've got to like break up that log jam. You got to like throw a stick of dynamite in the dam and like blow that up. So that way you can get the kinds of bookings, you can raise those prices. So you're not in backlog next year, those kinds of things. Yes, Nick.
I will agree with what John's saying. You might, I remember that was kind of whenever we started our podcast and you had like 20 videos that you needed to edit at the end of December or something. And by April, you had done it all. You had worked crazy hours to get all of that done. So I think we can all go through a stretch, be like, man, this next 2 months is going to suck because I'm going to put in 10, 12-hour day. It's going to suck, but there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. On the flip side of that, if you have a big backlog, you feel guilty working on stuff for your business because there's quote unquote no time. What I would recommend if you want to work on this stuff is say, I'm going to give myself 4 hours a week. It's going to be Mondays and Thursday afternoon for 2 hours. And I'm going to work on my website. I'm going to work on my marketing, but that is the only time that you can work on it. If you set up something like that, I think it will, at least in your mind, make it okay. Like, it's almost like giving yourself a little bit of permission to do that. If you like set it up in some sort of schedule to do it, because my problem is, I have 10 back in my backlog and I need to do this on my website. And so I feel guilty because it's like, there's no time to do any of it because I have to do all of it. Right. So I would go that route. If you want to work on some of this stuff, is give yourself permission and carve out a little bit of time each week to work on that.
Can I be real for a sec, Nick?
I would love for you to.
Delete social media off your phone until the end of the year. You'll
Ooh.
find time. You'll find time to do it.
Ooh.
You can upload on Instagram on desktop now. You don't need TikTok right now. You don't need that. I'm just saying, if you like to make a change, you have to get really serious. You have to be like, I've had it with this. I'm backlogged. I mean, that's how I felt for so many years. At this time of the year, I'd have no money, but I'd have 20 weddings to edit. I'm like, what the heck? What's wrong? What gives? And so, like what we talked about in the podcast episode, you have to be able to set that time aside wherever it is. I was going to be doing this, and like, you don't have to kill yourself. And like with our podcast, we're going to record a few episodes to get ahead so that we can take a few weeks off over Christmas. It's going to be hard work, but like, we're going to do 2 or 3 extra weeks worth of work in the next 3 weeks so that we can take time off. So maybe give yourself like by December 15th, I'm unplugging for the rest of the year and I'm getting these things done. I don't care how hard I have to work, but like, clearly communicating that with your spouse or your business partners or anybody that needs and might worry about you. That'd be my advice. Wow, we've gotten one question done. I'm gonna have to go quicker than this. Sorry, because it's 3:06. Okay,
I got passionate about that one too. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, what's next?
I don't know.
All right,
oh,
so next
I
one,
want to
here's
say, guys listening, real quick, I mentioned that promo code for our pricing guides. That's not available yet. That'll be available when this podcast actually goes live. So don't go to our website and try to buy those right now.
And
because
everybody that's listening right now can have them all for free if they just join the course. So it's just better. That's better that way. So all you guys, all 92 of you, just like join the course right now if you haven't, and then that way you get them all. Okay.
Boom. Easy. All right,
Boom.
guys.
That's easy. Okay. Blake
As
has
the
a question.
Flies Photo and Film wants to know, we do photo and video, and I'm wondering if we need separate the services on different websites. I have it split right now between weddings and portrait on our site. Is this too overwhelming?
Is it all wedding or is it other, like you said, portrait? So I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's.
They do photo
Nick,
and
go ahead.
video. I just want to know if they need to have like a separate site for each.
I personally, I don't think so. If it's all within the same genre, like if you're doing photo for weddings and video for weddings, I think it's fine. Now, if you have like family portraits or newborns or seniors or something like that, then I think that photo stuff, just like I would recommend if someone is doing video and they do commercial stuff and they do weddings and they do real estate, that you need to have 3 different sites or something that can really differentiate those. But if it's all wedding related, I think that it's fine to include it all in the same site.
Agreed. Blake, I just sent you over Jessica and Austin's website for the creative, and they do video and photo and do a really good job of like back and forth. And like Nick said, if you're doing real estate on there, that's probably something that it would be a turnoff for all the different parties involved. So brand it. And if I'm you and you do video and photo for weddings, really lean into that. Like really lean into the fact that it's actually a better deal for them to hire you for video and photo. They can for $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 get video and photo, but if going separate, they might have to pay $20,000 or whatever the numbers are. But you get the point. Like really lean into that value. Good question. What is next?
Okay. You got another one, Blake?
Yeah. How many more do you guys want to take?
Until like 3 or 4 more minutes. So just like 1 or 2, and then we'll do the giveaway. And if we want to hang around for a few more minutes, we can.
Cool.
We can do that.
Haley J Media wants to know, how do you tell the couple the travel fee without scaring them off?
Slowly. I'm just kidding.
Haley J, I am in that issue right now.
I have thoughts.
I'm figuring that out.
Okay.
John, what do you suggest?
So one thing that I was doing was, there's a couple different options. You can just bake it into the pricing, right? You're going to say it's $10,000, travel's included. I'll deal with it all. As I've gotten up over that range for some of these luxury-ish, low luxury level destination weddings, I have started saying, like the one I booked in Puerto Vallarta next year, I actually haven't I don't put a price tag on the travel. In the contract, though, it says you're going to pay me, I think I said 21,000 plus 5 nights in the same resort as the couple and airfare for 2 people. And then under it, it says John Bunn Films books all travel, does not purchase until confirming the price with the couple. And then I have another note that says we don't fly first class, but We like to stay somewhere safe, and we like to have enough room for our bags, which means we can't get on the plane last, or like little, they're in the contract, but I'm not just like blaring them at their faces as we're talking. And as we're talking, I'll say something like, yeah, here's the package price. And I also have you guys cover the airlines and hotels. I stay kind of where you're staying. I don't travel first class, but I book all that to save you time. And I kind of just say that, and I say I bill that separately or whatever. And then once we get a little bit closer, that's whenever I'm like, hey, I'm about to book these flights. Do you want to use your points? Do you want me to book them and you reimburse me? That's kind of how I've done that. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that's what I've been doing.
Great answer.
Yeah, that's a great way to go.
Alex Bizarrio wants to know if there are contract templates in the course.
We do not have contract templates in the course. We have partnered with Creative Law Shop, our friend Paige, and so we have a discount code. I'm not sure what that is. If you have any contracts that you might need, I think it's HTFW. But she's our lawyer. She's our lawyer friend. She's our lawyer for our businesses and stuff. So if you need any contract templates or stuff, I recommend reaching out to her. So let's do one more, Blake, and then we'll do the giveaway.
All right. Cindy Garden wants to know, do you ever build custom packages, or do you always send a pricing guide to every inquiry?
Every single package that we send off is custom. It's custom in the sense of price and, moving stuff and changing stuff, but I don't have like a set one that I send them. I mean, I kind of have a base idea of what I want it to be, and then I'm always going in and making updates and making changes and stuff. I've started with a three collection system, and then, just changing those, making little differences between the packages depending on what it is, where it is, what's going on. One of the things I'm asking during the consultation is, is this just a 1-day thing? Or are you planning like multiple days? And based on their answer, then that helps me kind of figure out how I want to structure the collections and how I want to put stuff in there. So I'm sending them the web page, but it's like I have the templated version on my website, and then I'm duplicating it and then going in and making changes to my website before I send it off to each couple.
Yeah, and it's different based on where you are in your business. If you're doing, so one of the things we talk about in the course is like how to build packages that sell, and how to build like a 3-package system. And if that was what I was doing, then I would be sending that every time, maybe customizing it a little bit. But if not, like what I've been doing lately is like, I know my base price for 1 day. I know what a 2-day package costs, a 3-day, those kinds of things. And I custom build everything as well, but that's not standard for, most people that are trying to bump over 3, 4, or 5,000 in the States. If that's the case, you might do some tweaking and customization, adding their names, maybe a photo of their venue, things like that before you send them, or even creating a custom URL, which I know Nick does. I'm about to start doing in 2023, where, johnbunfilms.com/Jimmy and Susie proposal, whatever, or Jimmy and Susie's quote. And it like walks them through where they have a custom link on the website that's easy for them to click to book and all that kind of stuff. So it really just depends. And then the fun thing about what we do is that marketing and sales and business is always changing. And maybe that works this year. Maybe their buying trends, like, it just changes over time. And so when I first started doing weddings, you could put ads in the phone book. I mean, and people would call you from that, and it was easier to book weddings. But Instagram didn't exist, so it was more impossible to book weddings outside of where you lived. So there's different opportunities and things at different times. So yeah, hopefully that helps. All right. Who here is interested, as the 91 of you that are watching, in winning this microphone Shure MV7? That's what we have, right? Yep. Microphone and one of these pricing guides. If you're excited, make sure. Nick, we've already put all their names in? Are we getting close?
Yeah, I'm getting them to Blake right now. So
okay, cool. That's great. So we have a couple of minutes, or do I need to stall?
Yeah, just a couple of quick minutes here.
Okay, let me double check to make sure here. All right. Yeah, we got the export. That's great. So here I am on the screen. Yeah. Let me see if there's any other little questions. Spin that wheel. They say they're ready. If anybody has questions about the course, please let me know that too. How do you recommend building your first killer website? Jason, depending on what your budget is and stuff, it might be worth it to like purchase a theme and then have a website person install that theme and customize it to you. That's what I did. A few $100s for a theme, and then websites like Squarespace and things like that make it really easy to drag and drop. I'm currently on a Show It website that I had a designer make. That cost about $5,000 for me to have that website built. So that's a pretty big expense. But you can type in like videographer themes for websites. You can like purchase a template and then fill it in. If you're okay and tech savvy, you can drag and drop certain things. But I usually say the first 24 months in business, you're still finding out who you are. And after 24 months, you know a little bit more of who you want to serve. Every year, you know a little bit better. And that's probably a good time to like do a redesign at that point. Maybe that's a redesign with logo. But after that 24-month period of time is usually when I say it's probably worth investing into somebody helping you really rebrand. And then every couple of years, you're going to want to do a refresh and update. It's just how it works. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. I've stalled. Nick,
I think we are ready here for this giveaway. Yeah. Blake's got it. All right.
Oh my goodness.
So here we go, guys. You have to be present to win. So we're going to spin this wheel and you have to be here to win this. So Blake, whenever you are ready, hit it. Oh, here it goes, guys.
Yeah.
It's going.
Oh, yeah.
It's going.
The
Wheel of names, my favorite.
Haley Hongslow.
Are you here, Haley?
Hongslow at Gmail. If you are here, say, that's funny, Bradley. Let's see. Is Haley here? We're going to have about 30 seconds. Haley,
here? We got 30 seconds. Haley, you got to comment.
You got to comment. She's not here. Oh, that's me. She said.
Haley J Media. That's me.
Good job.
Congrats, Haley. So what I want you to do is send us an email at hello@howtofilmweddings.com. That's hello@howtofilmweddings.com. Let us know that you are the winner and we will hook you up. Congratulations. Congratulations.
You're getting a microphone and your choice of a pricing guide, either the modern, the luxury, or the adventure.
Adventure.
All right.
Yes.
I've got like five more minutes or so, Nick. We could answer a couple more questions if you'd like. We've got that much time before we're going to be picking.
Does Blake have that much time?
That's a good question.
Blake is here for it. Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Let's jump on one more question. Do you have one?
Yeah, there's another one I was looking for. How do you make sure how do you protect your gear from theft at events? You might have a fun little tip that we've all started doing here recently. If you want to put that out there.
I put Apple tags on all my stuff. I bought like a 4-pack of little Apple tags, and there's Pelican cases for them, and I hide them in different spots. I hide them in each one of my bags. And that's what I do, and I can manage them and see them on my phone. It kind of tracks where they are. It doesn't keep it safe, but gives me a little bit of safety. And then I obviously keep my gear out of the way of guests or wait staff or vendors. I try to have a spot, ask the planner, where I can get this in a room with a door that shuts. I like to have it in a room with a table, so I can put it all up on a table, and it just makes it easier for me to charge things and be able to not have to be bending down at the end of the night. I'm getting old. That just happens, but that's what I do. What else?
Anybody else have any more questions?
That's a good one. Haley commented, John, I'm going to ask you this. She commented that she already has the pricing guide. So she's like, we could draw another name and we could give that person the pricing guide.
I don't think they want that.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I think it's a great idea. I mean, if people are still here, that's really nice. Claudia said we sure do. Okay, spin that freaking wheel, man. You know how I feel about the wheel.
Okay, Blake,
names.
pull that back up, remove her name, and spin it again.
Everybody, hey, Haley. Is it Haley is her name? Haley, would
Haley.
you put your Instagram in the comments, and everybody go follow Haley and like be her friend on Instagram for putting putting you back in the name to win this. What are you laughing at?
Bradley says he takes it back.
I take it back, Haley. That's funny. Haley, put your
All right.
Instagram in the comments. Is the
And
pricing
yes, this
guide
is already in the
course?
course. If you
Yes.
are a course purchaser, you already have this. They are in there.
Look at the top in the downloads. It's right there.
Yep. Yep. So,
It's like
okay, spin
having,
it again,
having
Blake.
an inheritance and not even knowing it. All right, we're spinning the wheel. Yep.
Oh, here we go.
That's why it's worth it to hang on till the very end. You never know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
All right, wheel of names. Here we go.
Info at something blue photo. Are you here?
Something blue. Blue. I like that.
Blue.
Something blue. Who is that?
Is that our friend?
Blue. Something blue. We're not making fun of your name. Something blue is here. I see them.
Do you something blue? Do you want a pricing guide? Does that sound good to you? Does that sound like something you would like to take home to your business?
Everybody, wherever you're at, just even if you're in a coffee shop, just say, "Good job, Blue." Good job, Blue. People look at you crazy.
They say yes. They say yes. Okay.
Great.
So send us an email, hello@howtofilmweddings.com, and we will hook you up with one of those pricing guides. So
okay, Nick, I think we're running out of time. Here's the thing. We love answering questions like this, and a final push for our course, if you're on the fence about it, we answer questions like this. We give a lot of attention inside of the course for everyone. If you ask a question in there, we can get to it. We wish we had the time for the tens of thousands of filmmakers in our main big group to answer all the questions. But that's why we created this. We wanted to spend more time on a deeper level. So if you're on the fence about it, we're going to be doing some more lives this week, some more giveaways. It's a very fun week for us, seeing so many new people join and invest into themselves. Nick, it's always great hanging out with you. I'm going to let you land the YouTube plane before we go. Or do you just want to say bye?
We can just say goodbye. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Right.
Tomorrow, letting you know, 2:00 tomorrow, if you're here, we are doing a live film review at 2 p.m. Central, the same time that we did this one. So if you want to hang out with us some more tomorrow afternoon, come and get it.
Let's do it. All right. We'll see you guys.
See you guys.